Hey guys, welcome back to the Wild Wrestling channel. I am your host, Seth. Today, we're going to be going over how good were my WrestleMania 42 match card predictions that I made in January or February right after the Royal Rumble. So let's hop right into the video. Play the intro. First up, based on the events of the Royal Rumble and after Liv eliminated Raquel, I thought Raquel was going to win the world title off Stephanie Vaquer, and we were going to get Liv and Raquel for the women's world title at WrestleMania. This is not what ended up happening, as Vaquer beat Raquel in the series of matches they had, and Liv still chose to face Vaquer. So now at Mania, we've had a heated feud going into it, and now we're going to get Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan for the women's world title, which is still a great match. So I didn't get this one fully right, but we're expecting a good match at Mania. Next up, I thought we would see Carmelo Hayes, who was the current U.S. champion, defend his title against Trick Williams. They had some history in NXT, and I thought since Trick was starting to become a big star on SmackDown, this would work perfectly. It's actually funny, though, because what ended up happening is now it's Sami Zayn and Trick Williams at Mania, even though Carmelo thought it was his spot, and Sami swooped in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before Mania, has grabbed the title, and is now facing Trick. So people could argue this really should have been the match, Melo and Trick. But we're getting Sami and Trick instead, which kind of is disappointing because I would have really liked to see Melo and Trick. But Sami and Trick for the U.S. title is the match we're getting at Mania. Next, I thought we would see Becky Lynch defend her women's IC title against Maxine Dupree and Natalya, based on Maxine and Natty's rivalry on Raw, and I think they both were going after the women's IC title. I thought this triple threat wouldn't fit perfectly. But I think what ended up happening is even better, as now AJ Lee was able to swoop in and she cost... I think it was before, though, and she cost Becky the title, but she swooped back in, and Becky and AJ Lee fought at Elimination Chamber for the women's IC title. AJ Lee won, and now Becky's getting a rematch here at Mania. I think this is a better match than what I thought we would get here, but now this will be an epic match that we'll see at Mania for the women's IC title. I also thought we would see Dirty Dom defend his IC title against Finn Balor. Now, this match is actually still happening. We are going to get Finn Balor and Dirty Dom to happen the exact same way I thought, with Finn Balor leaving the Judgment Day betraying him. But the only difference is here, it will not be for the IC title. We'll get back to the IC title in a little bit. But now this match, Penta won the IC title off Dirty Dom, so now this is going to be a one-on-one match for just a blood feud, Balor and Dom, which will still be a great match here, a good rivalry match to get on the card here at WrestleMania. Now, I'm about to go through a lot of matches here, and it's kind of a weird thing of how everything works together, so just bear with me here. I thought we would have seen LA Knight take on Bronson Reed due to everything that was going on after Bronson Reed put LA Knight through a car. He returned at Royal Rumble, and I thought they could build up this rivalry. Bronson Reed ended up getting injured and is on the shelf right now, so this, of course, wasn't a possibility. So we'll check back in with LA Knight in a sec, because I also thought we would see Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio go one-on-one here at Mania due to everything they were doing with their feud at the time. This also is not going to happen. We'll check in with Rey Mysterio a little later, but now Logan Paul and LA Knight are going to be in the same match, as Logan Paul is going to team up with his tag team championship mate Austin Theory and I Show Speed to take on the Usos and LA Knight in a 6-man tag, which should be a very interesting match overall. Now, to check back in with Rey and the IC title, instead of what I thought was going to happen with the IC title with Finn and Dom, it's actually Penta who's defending his title in a 6-man ladder match. It's supposed to be 5-man, but this past week on Raw, Rey added himself in there, so we're getting a 6-man ladder match at Mania, which is something we've all wanted to come back. It's been 10 years since the last ladder match for the IC title at Mania, and this should be an epic one with all the participants, and I'm very excited for this match at WrestleMania. A match that I threw out there that isn't even happening at all is I thought, based on the events of the Royal Rumble, we would have seen the original El Grande Americano take on the new El Grande Americano, as they were having a little bit of a feud going. That feud's kind of died off since then, so I really don't think it makes sense to have this now, but I thought it could have happened based on all the events of the Royal Rumble at the time. And then one match that I never predicted at all, which is happening on the card that probably would have replaced that, I guess you could say, is Nia Jax and Last Legend defending their WWE Women's Tag Team titles in a fatal four-way against the Bella Twins, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, and Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. This will be an epic way to showcase the women's tag division and get them on the card, with all these big names on it like Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Nia Jax. And this should be an epic, chaotic match here, and it'll be a really interesting tag match at WrestleMania. Now, based on some of their standoffs from the Royal Rumble, I thought we would get Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi, and I got that spot on, because after that, everyone wanted to see that, and WWE made our wishes came true. Obafemi accepted Brock Lesnar's opening challenge, and they've been having such a main event scene build up, like a world title match build up here, as they've been brawling so much and just absolutely destroying each other, and this should be a colossal and epic match to see at WrestleMania. Then, again, like in a lot of this stuff, because I just watched Royal Rumble, a lot of this is based on what happened there. And again, here, I thought Jade Cargill would defend her WWE Women's Championship against Tiffany Stratton, who had just returned at the Royal Rumble. And since of their history and Tiffany needing, in my opinion, a rematch, I thought this match would have happened. But instead, due to Liv Morgan choosing Vaquer, Rhea Ripley was able to win the Women's Elimination Chamber and earn her shot at Jade Cargill. They've had a good build-up so far, and this is two colossal titans in the women's division squaring off, which will be an epic match to see at WrestleMania, so this is super cool that it's happening. Then I thought we would see Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker go at it, as after we saw the Mystery Man attack Braun Breaker, who later was found out to be Seth Rollins, and everyone thought that was going to happen. I thought over time this would have shaped up perfectly, and we'd finally get the Mania match we wanted. But Braun Breaker kind of got injured in the lead up, like only a little bit after Royal Rumble, so scrap those plans. And no one really knew what to do with Seth Rollins here, but now WWE is throwing him in a match with Gunther here. It doesn't seem like that Gunther is working for Paul Heyman this past week on Raw, but it seems like he's gonna have to owe Gunther a favor. But at least at Mania, we're gonna get an epic match here between Seth Rollins and Gunther. In this next match, I think overall, based on the build-up in these upcoming weeks to Mania, people might agree with what I actually chose over what's gonna happen. I thought Drew McIntyre, Jacob Fatu, and Cody Rhodes would have a WWE Championship triple threat match at Mania, which would have been awesome to see. But instead, Drew McIntyre lost the title back to Cody Rhodes, and Randy Orton won the Men's Elimination Chamber match. He turned heel on Cody, and they had a solid build-up so far, but now the mystery caller was revealed to be Pat McAfee, what people were just confused with, and people didn't really know how this story was going to be affected by it. So, I don't know really if people will agree with me on what I chose, but I think some people, just based on these last couple weeks of what's really been happening on SmackDown, people might think that this triple threat would have been more pleasing. And even though we are getting Cody and Randy, we're also, Jacob Fatu and Drew are still on the card as they're facing each other in an unsanctioned match, because their feud has been boiling since Drew took out Jacob last summer. And now they can't keep these men apart, so an unsanctioned match will have to do at Mania, which is going to be an epic and brutal match to watch. And finally, I thought CM Punk and Roman Reigns would face each other for the World Heavyweight title, and I got that spot on. This build-up has been amazing so far between Roman and Punk, and now this match is going to be two megastars in WWE, and this will be an epic match here, drawing so many viewers, and this should be an epic main event for WrestleMania Night 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below if you enjoyed this video and turn on that bell so you get notified whenever I upload a brand new video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.